Costa Mesa Sanitary District to order on the 24th of July at 5:30 on the nose. And please stand up and put your hand over your heart. And join me in saluting the greatest country in the world. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If you'd all bow your heads. Heavenly Father, we once again ask that you watch over this meeting and all participating. Be with all of those this evening who are sick or grieving. We ask in your holy name. Amen.
Roll call, please.
Director Arlene Schaefer. Here. Assistant Secretary Robert Uden.
Here.
Secretary Arthur Perry.
Here.
Vice President Michael Schaefer.
Here.
And President James Fairman.
Present.
Thank you.
We have no ceremonial matters that are coming before us tonight. Announcement of late communications.
Thank you, Mr. President. We received one late communication from Mr. Jim Mosier, and those comments are before you tonight. I do want to mention that his comment on item number 17 on the agenda will be addressed by the District Council later tonight.
Okay.
And Mr. President, there's a draft interlineated version of Mr. Carroll's proposed contract that is also a late communication.
Okay, so noted. I'm going to move item 14 up after we deal with the public hearing. We do have a public comments. This is a time when the public can address the board on any issue. I do have one card, and that's from Jim Mosier. Jim?
But that's on the agenda item. I was going to speak on it.
Oh, okay. Okay, well, we'll wait for that then. Any other public that would like to address the board at this time? Okay. Consent calendar. Are there any items on the consent calendar that any director would like to pull for discussion?
Move for approval.
Second. Discussion, any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Motion carries. We're going to do the public hearing, then we'll do item 14. We have a resolution in front of us here tonight, and we need to adopt it. So.
Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong, Richard, I think you have to open the public hearing, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's what I was trying to do.
Okay.
The public hearing is now open, and we are going to discuss the resolutions.
Thank you, Mr. President. Before you is our two resolutions that are really just a formality to adopt our assessments for the current fiscal year. Even though the budgets have been adopted last year, or a two-year budget, we still have to go through the process of adopting the rates every year. So the resolution before you is a resolution for adopting the solid waste collection rates, and those rates will stay the same as prior year. And then there's also a resolution for the liquid waste or the sewer rates, and those rates will go up 2%. And that was approved by the board last year when we did a rate study, a 5-year plan. And so the 2% will go up to all customers in the Costa Mesa Sanitary District service area. This meeting has been posted 2 weeks prior in the daily pilot that complies with the regulations. And so now it's the time to see if there's anyone that has protested or has any comments regarding the resolution.
Have we received any correspondence?
No, we have not received anything.
Okay.
That's a question, right? Don't we need longer than the 2-week notice for a rate increase?
Yeah, Mr. President, if we could just add to, for the benefit of the public, we all understand this, but it would be good to say for the public is that this has already been through the Prop 218 process of the 45-day
right.
mailed notice. So both rates have been already justified through that hearing process. This is, as Mr. Carroll has mentioned, more of the formality of actually imposing the assessments, which we are required to do every year on the property. It's more of a mechanical process.
This is the second year of our 2-year budget.
Also,
will be
also, yes. So we have adopted some increases, and that was done with that full hearing process, and now we have to just do the mechanical process every year of telling the assessor how much to assess against each parcel.
Okay. Can I ask a question? In the case of we're raising the liquid charges 2%, did we send out a card to everybody, or do we have to send out a notice of the meeting too?
We will send out a notice
Oh.
prior to it actually being assessed.
Okay.
Just a reminder notice, not a hearing notice, but a reminder notice, as we're required to under the law about adopting a 5-year plan.
Okay.
And we'll probably send that through. We might send it through the newsletter or something like that.
That's all we have to do. We don't have to send it out to every resident?
We do have to reach every resident,
Okay.
yes, just to remind them that the rates are going into effect.
My question was, normally we have the hearing after we send out the postcard.
Yeah, this is,
This
because
is
we've
the-
already done all,
Okay.
there's like 4 different hearing requirements we're trying to meet here,
Okay.
maybe 5.
I just want to make sure we're doing it the
Yeah,
right way.
yeah, and
So
that's
this is
good,
fine.
those are all good questions, but we have met all of the requirements, and we just need to send the notice out about the rates going up
Okay.
before they're actually implemented. That's the last thing we have to do.
I'll move for resolution 2014-851 for approval.
Second.
Okay, discussion, Bob?
Well, not on the solid waste.
That's the
My-
solid
my-
waste.
Yeah, my
That's the-
question is on the liquid waste. Since
Okay.
there's no increase in the solid waste fees.
Right, okay.
And before you actually take that vote, could the president close the public hearing?
If that's appropriate.
That would be appropriate before you vote.
Okay, we'll now close the public hearing, and we are going to vote on the resolution 2014-851. Is that right?
Yes.
Well, we
Yes.
did each.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Motion carries. I entertain a motion for the other resolution.
Move for approval of resolution 2014-852.
Second?
Any further discussion? Bob?
The 2% fee increase was justified by our second-year budget.
Yes.
That's how staff determined that we do need the 2%.
The 2% to help us with the our capital improvement projects, yes.
All right.
Okay, any other comments? Jim, did you want to address the board?
Actually, Mr. President, the hearing has been closed. Did you want to reopen the public hearing and?
Well, I suppose we could.
Let the record reflect that nobody left the hearing, and the president is reopening the public hearing to hear the comments from Mr. Mosher.
Accommodate Mr. Mosher.
Thank you for that opportunity, President Ferryman. My comment, I was trying to read these, I thought it was a routine matter, and I assumed it is. And I was trying to read the resolutions while you were voting on them. And I am in the liquid waste collection district. And I'm just curious, the rates that you're talking about and were previously approved are spelled out in some detail in the staff report. But when I look at the actual resolution, it doesn't say what rates you are imposing. And I am wondering if somebody can clarify how the public looking at the resolution knows what rate is being imposed on them.
The only thing we can
refers
offer
to
on
something
that,
about a report, but I don't know what report it's referring to.
Mr. President, is that
Thank
the
you.
law,
Thank you.
the law was written at a time when there was actually a physical written report that was produced. Now it's electronic, so it's the
Oh, I see.
mechanical application of the rates to the parcels that the city clerk has to certify, and that becomes the document that we send to the assessor. Everything's electronic now, so it's hard to hold up a disc
Would
and
the
say,
public have
will you
access
now
to
bless
it?
this?
Is there any way that the public would have access to that, or?
It will be, you mean before the meeting?
Uh,
The better way to look at it would be the report we prepared a year ago when we, set forth parcels and charges and all. And I think that's in the report tonight too, isn't it? It generalized. I mean, if you're a residential parcel, that's going to be your fee. If you're a commercial parcel, then you have to calculate.
I'll close the public hearing at this time and consider we have first Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Abstained? Motion carries. Item 14. We're gonna move that up. And it's the Sewer Lateral Assistance Program, appeal. Scott?
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. I'll take the lead and Winnie Davis will assist me. This is a request to appeal to the SLAP application, the SLAP program, to seek reimbursements of lateral improvements. This was heard by the board at a study session, which is why we're bringing it back to you tonight. Really, the bottom line it comes down to, Mr. President and Board of Directors, is that unfortunately we believe the appeal should be denied because it was not followed by the procedures. While we feel the applicant's concerned and are paying for that amount of money that she had to pay for the laterals, and if she would have followed through the procedures, hopefully we would have caught that and prevented her from spending that amount of money on improving her lateral. Our concern, staff's concern, is that if you approve this appeal not following procedures, you're going to set precedent. So open the door for other people to say, well, why did you approve for that applicant and not me? So we think we should follow the procedures as it's written, and therefore we're recommending that the board denies the appeal.
Comments? Bob?
You know, I'll kind of make the same comments I did when we heard this appeal before. I believe Mrs. Linsky should be paid the $1,600 because it was rather abrupt that the board learned that we were out of money for the sewer lateral assistance program, and I don't believe, you know, the timing was such that I didn't understand that staff had already begun, I believe, to deny applicants as they were coming in. Mr. Linsky has a plumber that's familiar with our program, probably knows our staff, and I believe, you know, the plumber probably got wind through either visiting our office or talking to staff or, you know, hearing it from other plumbers, you know, that the program was abandoned. The earlier consent calendar had a summary of the sewer lateral assistance program, and I went through and did an analysis of Wendy's information, and I believe there's a significant amount of money left in the program. We're going to get through the year with, you know, I don't remember how many thousands, $20,000 left over. I believe Mrs. Linsky fell through the cracks for, you know, what staff says is not following the procedures, but I believe there was enough ambiguity at the time that she and or the plumber would have maybe misunderstood the board's position, and it was not my position to stop the as a board member, it's not my position to stop the program. I believe staff stopped the program, came to us and said, you know, we need more money, you know, to continue because these applications are coming in. So I would like to make a motion that Mrs. Linsky be paid the $1,600. You know, I am concerned that, you know, this will be a precedent, but it's happened once in the 9 years that the 7 years that we've had the program, so I don't believe there's much risk that. I think the extenuating circumstances in this case, you know, I'm going to make a motion that Ms. Linsky receive the payment for her sewer lateral repairs.
Does Ms. Linsky have to address the board on this?
I'd like to
She
hear Ms. Linsky.
didn't submit a,
She can talk about it because it's on the agenda now.
yeah. Mrs. Linsky, would you?
Well, I have a motion on the floor.
I'll second Bob's motion.
Okay. Discussion?
I would like to hear from Ms. Linsky.
I would-
She
I would too.
And her
Well,
friends that
me too.
if you don't mind.
Procedurally, once it belongs to the board, you Exactly, that's why I was trying to get it in before.
If you'd come up here to the podium.
Sorry.
Okay.
Just procedure.
Thank you for allowing me to address you. I called Cole Plumbers and asked if, a representative could be here. And I explained to him, his name is Steve Fernandez, that I had put this appeal before the study session. My understanding at the time was that the rebate was denied because the program was no longer funded. It was suspended. And I asked, of course, I was very surprised when I got here, and Wendy showed me the video and said that after looking at the video, there was a question as to whether the job that was done was required. So it became two issues. And the first issue is regarding the rebate. Cole said when they were aware of your procedures, they've worked with you before, when they applied for the permit, including the rebate, they were told, or they heard, and this is where I'm a little mixed up, because initially they didn't know anything about it. Talking to him, he said that the program was suspended, so what was the requirement for applying for a rebate? And so that wasn't done. I don't know how much to get into our conversation, except that he felt there were with the two issues relating the necessity of the job and rebate, he felt would not be in my best interest for him to be here.
Okay, his best interest maybe.
I can understand that.
Yeah. And so I said, look, there's this question regarding the video, and it had a wrong date stamp on it. And he said, well, that's my fault. It's my computer. I haven't corrected it. So it is a current video, but not the 2008, I think it was, date on it. And so I asked him, please, make available to me another disc with both videos so the staff could see it. And he promised to get it to me this afternoon. Instead, at 2:30, a Cole technician arrived to take a picture of the video, to run a video of the line. So he obviously did not have the video. And so I'm at a loss. I thought, everything was going the way it should go, and it wasn't. So I'll take any questions.
Well, how did he respond when you pointed out to him that the video that you looked at didn't show any damage and didn't require any?
He said, he insisted it did. I said, look, Wendy, the finance manager, sat down with me. We went through the video they provided and compared it with another video from another resident. And I said, it looked clean. And he said, what does a financial person know about sewer lines?
Rob?
I'm getting really good.
Mr. President, board members, I did review the video, and I believe, although I was not there, I do believe that Cole Plumbing convinced the applicant to line the line because the first so many feet, 30 to 50, I can't remember, was corroded cast iron pipe.
there was no blockages in the line. The line flowed fine. It was strictly an attempt by Cole to generate more work. It was not necessary to be done at the time. It's also questionable about their method for remediating that cast iron pipe. It could probably have been dug up and replaced by hand at a far cheaper price since it was in the lawn. So, and as we work through the program, one of the things we concentrate on is trying to make sure what's fixed is what's necessary to keep the sewer lateral operating properly. So it was operating properly. That certainly would have been considered optional work that the district would not have supported, certainly without looking at the other options of ways to remediate it.
May I clarify a couple of things? One, the term rebate, it's the program is a approval ahead of time, not like when you go to the store and you spend the money and then you send in a receipt, and so it's not an after the fact. So I just want to clarify that term. Bill, I think you made it clear to me that at the time the permit is drawn, the plumber should present a video of the existing pipe, and then your staff would review it and go over the options for it.
Well, and that's a couple things that we want to clarify, is that the applicant must sign the application, and so she never saw an application, she never signed one, and so by signing the application, you're agreeing to the terms, that you haven't done the work, that you're actually, you know, submitting a video and requesting approval, so that, hence it's not a rebate program. The question of the 2008 on the video was because there was only one video submitted, and we couldn't determine if it was before or after, so we were trying to piece together, there was already a clean out, and so we never saw an after video to determine if the work was even done. And because it was such a good sewer lateral to begin with, we were curious if that might have been the after, but the things that he charged her for were not on there. So that's why the 2008 was just in question, because we had difficulty determining what, you know, there was no narration, there was a lot of things. But the bottom line is the application must be turned in and signed by an applicant. And the plumber never even presented her one, much less, you know, told her about the application process. And then I want to just clarify, there's not $20,000 available. We allocated all the additional appropriation that we had at the end of the 13-14 year to the applicants that we took, because you gave an additional appropriation. So we spent that out, and we're just waiting for those people to submit their applications, so we don't actually have extra funding in last year. But it's a new year. If you approve it now, it would come out of this year's money, not be accrued for last year.
I'll go over that data with you.
Okay. And I have the after video taken this afternoon.
Is this the first time Cole's done one of these?
No.
Thank you.
And then I go, it's other plumbers too as well.
Oh, no, I understand. Ms. Linsky had said something about Steve F. Is that who I saw?
Just for the board, we denied other applications for the following procedures. We denied it before. So this is setting precedent.
I just have one question. When did we take our video, pre-video? You remember what year it was?
I'm sorry, say that again?
We had video that we had on file. Is that what we did? We checked we not checked it ourselves?
No, we didn't check ourselves. No, we also.
So they provided a video with the wrong date stamp.
He had one from 2008.
He did? That's not
But it was dated.
Well,
wrong.
he had the date stamp
Dated
wrong.
2008. It was the only video we got, and it had a date on it and no narration, which is something we require. So we had trouble determining.
So we didn't look at our video.
We don't have a video. We don't have a camera of our own to go down there, and we'd have to hire a contractor to do that.
Because it was lateral, and it was not the main one.
And we thought we didn't need to.
Any other comments? You know, I think we all would like to help Mrs. Linsky, but, you know, the evidence is compelling against, and, you know, it would almost be like a gift of public funds if we didn't have a rationale behind our decision. And that's my take on it. I wish we, you know,
We'd feel bad.
I feel horrible, but
Feel bad for your situation.
yeah. But I don't think we can make an exception in this case, my opinion. Anybody else want to?
I did, you know, I want to reiterate that apparently staff had no one following up on the sewer lateral assistance expenditures. And it came to a close abruptly, and people were turned away, I think, before the board had a chance to you know, increase the funding of the program. I was the one that made the motion for the increase in the program based on staff's estimate of you know, what the needs were. You know, I went over the data this afternoon, and I apparently made some errors as, you know, I must have been using my slide rule instead of the calculator. But I believe that whether this plumber took advantage of Mrs. Linsky or not, we would have paid her the $1,600 for this repair if we had had our act together and it had been going along smoothly. We would not have had this opportunity, you know, to look at apparently, you know, unscrupulous activities by the plumber. It would have just been done. It would have been submitted, and we would have paid the $1,600. So my motion stands as made it.
Really?
Well, the only thing I can say is, first of all, it starts with precedence, which is extremely important. Secondly, first of all, I feel for you because you've been hacked. There's no other way to put it. The plumber did not cooperate with Ed. And as far as signing any paper or going through the proper protocol, he did not. Even she has tried to get hold of him, and now in the 7th hour or 11th hour, he, you know, finally decides to come through just a little bit of luck. He has not signed anything, which, you know, you've got to have something signed.
And I believe all of that occurred because staff stopped the program. We ran out of money.
That's not true, because I think staff did its fiduciary responsibility by stopping the program and not going over spending the money.
And stopping the program alerted the plumbing community, you know, that we weren't going to fund anything, and there was a time between that action, staff's action, and the board's approval to increase the amount of funds.
But
And so they had to be stopped.
But I have to say, it wasn't the staff that stopped it, we stopped it. Because we said, oh my gosh, we don't have funds.
No, we did not.
No,
Staff
it
stopped.
wasn't like
Staff
that.
stopped it.
We were surprised when we ran out of money.
Right.
We were shocked, and we were
Yes.
kind
And
of
staff
upset.
had already stopped the program.
Yeah,
But I guess in the future, do you want us to keep on spending the money when there's no money?
I want staff to be on top of the program, and you know, tell us that you've allocated $200,000, and you're now at $150,000. You know, and make the estimate of what the needs are so that the board can determine whether we want to increase the funds or not in a timely manner. That's my concern. It was not a timely manner. We had to take action after the program had run out of money.
Yeah, I think
Because staff
our
wasn't-
position is, even if their money was there, the bottom line shouldn't follow procedure. Like I said before, we even when we had money, we denied
I
applications.
believe that the procedures were not followed by the plumber, who's familiar with our program, because he was aware that the staff had stopped the program before the board was, probably.
If I may, so hypothetically, if the plumber had had the application filled out and signed by the applicant, she would have come in, that would have come in.
Yeah.
We would have reviewed it and told her she needed nothing, if I'm correct.
That would have been
And
the
then we
perfect
would have only
scenario.
reimbursed her half of her video
Yeah.
costs.
That would have been the perfect scenario. The plumber was aware that my suspicion is my assumption is the plumber was aware of the program, and he didn't see any reason to follow through with the process based on, you know, whatever staff told him. you know.
Well, he might also have been aware of the fact that that TV tape proved that it didn't need to be done.
The video.
That would have
So
been
he
to
wanted to
everyone.
avoid
Yeah.
the review.
So
you know?
Mrs.
Yeah, I'm
Linsky would have been out
just speculating.
$125 and not X number of thousands of dollars. That would have been the perfect scenario. And that's how it probably normally goes with 200 applications this year. We've had 200 applications come through the door correctly, or 190 or whatever it is. And we've had thousands before that come through the door correctly.
Okay, we do have a motion on the floor, and if there's no further debate or comments on it, I'm going to call for the question, and all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Aye.
Aye.
Motion fails. I don't know that.
Can we go find just a last comment to Ms. Linsky? If this had happened to me, I would be actively pursuing the contractor's license board against Cole Plumbing and some other action. I'm just telling you what I would do. So.
Can I make a comment?
Please.
I agree with Bob that we were shocked when we found out we were out of money. But that's a different scenario than what our staff was telling us. No matter what, we probably wouldn't approve the project based on the facts that we had. But Bob's point is well taken, that we just need to stay on top of it.
And now every region, every month, you'll have in your consent calendar an update on the program.
I just want to say that, but that was what Bob was saying, basically.
Yeah, that's what we asked for.
Yeah.
Do we need to have a finding on this, or we're okay?
I can prepare a formal decision for you if you want for next meeting, based on what I've heard.
Based on the minutes, I want to be done in the minutes. The recommendation denying the
It might
appeal.
be good to formalize it.
You have a little defense of what your reasoning was.
Just 'cause it's coming.
I'll
I
prepare
wish we could be of help to you.
Yeah,
I
well,
really do.
thank you for listening,
feel
and
sorry.
I'll just take the minutes with me as backup, more documentation.
Okay, that'd be great.
Uh-huh.
If we can help you in any way, let us know.
That's what he said.
Would you mind if we reviewed the after video? Just
Sure.
make sure the work was done. We'll return it to you.
Okay.
Okay, thank you so much.
We'll make sure you get them in.
I bet the date stamp is correct.
The resolution confirming facts might help you too, Mrs. Linsky. The resolution that they'll adopt next meeting, adopting facts, might help you with your contractor.
Okay, great, thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, let's move along. Let's go back to item 9. The year-end budget.
Thank you, Mr. President. Winnie Davis, Finance Manager, will be giving this report.
Thank you, Mr. President. These are preliminary numbers for the end of the fiscal year. Just a top view summary, even with the reduction in the solid waste fund, we're still under budget. That's substantially in the areas that we had so many vacant positions during the year, offset by some contractual relationships that we established. We also saw the savings for April, May, and June from the organics negotiations that took place, where we saved per ton and per household. So that brought the the solid waste fund under budget to the tune of about $73,000, thank you. And the sewer fund, we anticipated at our last quarterly review that most of the money for the sewer maintenance would be expended. We were only billed once a year by National Plant for all the sewer cleaning that they do. They came in at approximately $130,000 of a $200,000 budget. for their work. Last couple years, it's been substantially less. I understand from the general manager that we're going to increase cleaning in the next couple years, so we probably will expend that, but that was a substantial savings, as well as the savings in the salaries area. We did not purchase the three-quarter ton truck and the generators. That money will be carried over into the next year, but the rest of the remaining $427,000 will go back to fund balance retained earnings to be reappropriated towards a future year.
Can I ask a question? Does that 427,000 reflect the 400,000 we're putting aside for the pump station abandonment?
That,
Or is that separate?
that is separate. That's just money from the maintenance and operations that we saved during the years, and we'll go back. The 400,000 that we appropriated during the year did go into the budget and is set aside for that. So that essentially will be money available in the future to go towards the extra money we need for the abandonment.
Do we have any unfunded pension liabilities that maybe could apply some of this to?
We do. I don't know if it would be necessary to do that, but I can look into what the benefit.
I think we ought to at least consider it.
What the benefit would be. I can certainly look into finding out what the benefit would be.
Well, Jim and I have been sitting in on Orange County Sand District meetings, and they just paid down about half of their unfunded liability.
$125 million.
Yeah, they just happen to have $125 million sitting around. So they paid it down. They paid it down, and the logic, I talked to Lorenzo, and the logic was Osers is making 7% on their money, and we're making about 1%. Yeah. And they decided they would only pay down half because they expected that the investment, there would be significant improvements in investments in the near future, which may
They're hedging their bet.
yeah. Which would reduce that the other half of that. You know, so they don't want to, they want to pay it all, but so they made a calculated, I think they had professional make the calculated estimate of.
And what's that number? It's like 250,000.
Yeah, I mean, you might refresh your memory. We had this discussion last year.
Mark
And it was,
told us not to.
$215,000, and staff recommended, let's use that, instead of spending $250,000 to give the CalPERS, let's just use that money for capital project or something else. So all you're doing is give the CalPERS, and this is going in the black hole.
How much will that 250 appreciate after another year?
Yeah, I don't know. But if you want us to bring this back for discussion, we can do it at a later time.
What it does, though, is it's pretty significantly reduced Orange County Sand District's total contribution needed to be made to Osers. So I think that's what their professionals were saying. It does affect what Orange County Sand District has to pay in the future by having paid down some of that unfunded liability. I don't think this goes into group pool. So I would recommend, Scott, that you read the Orange County Sand District staff report and talk to Lorenzo, to get his logic on it, and then run it by Mark and Wendy.
Yeah, that would be something for discussion.
But I think we need
that'd be a good
to have that
study
discussion
session
at a
item to
study
go over.
session.
Yeah.
And Mr. President, if I could add that Orange County Record is the same thing, and they're unique in that most of their employees are funded through OSHA, so they did it for the same reason, but they've gone over to PERS, and I'm not sure you get the same benefit PERS.
Yeah.
So that
gonna be a
would
different
be a good
animal,
discussion to
yeah.
have in a study session.
Yeah.
It's it is a good study session item because PERS gives you a horizon, and they fund it over so many years. And then what's typically happened during my experience in government is they every so often they reestablish how they're going to do this funding mechanism, and where you thought you were getting ahead of the curve, they suddenly change everything, and then it turns into now we're going to do it this way, and everyone needs to do this. So we can look at it and see that would still be split between the sewer and the trash fund, although the majority of it is in the sewer fund.
Just so we have a figure to look at.
Well, we're putting away $17,000 a year towards that, or there's some amount of money that we approved to put away towards that fund someplace.
Yeah,
trust
that's the
account.
CERBT, which is the retirement funding for the retirees' medical. And we do fund that, and that's the ARC is 17,000, which is what they establish as the projected funding amount over so many years.
I thought we didn't have retiree medical here. Oh, Jones still? Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we're unique. Other agencies have to pay that OPEB benefit.
Oh, yeah.
Have to fund for the medical. We're unique because of your leadership that we don't have that unfunded liability.
Staff has direction, though, as to what we want to do. Okay, thank you. Let's move along. Item 10, strategic plan.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm just available here to answer any questions. This is just a quarterly report that we present to you to give you an update on how we're progressing to achieving all the goals in the strategic plan and moving forward to achieving the mission and visions of it.
Any questions of Scott in regards to that, Bob?
Yeah, Scott and or Rob, in there you reported that we have 1,600 grade 4s to repair, and we're doing 75 of them this year. I would think the grade 4s would be substantially easier to do, and we had when we were doing the grade 5s, it was like 100 and, I don't know, it was 100 and some. And why are we choosing such a low number when we get such a big target?
Thank you. We had 255 grade 5s.
Oh.
So we did about a third in the 3 phases.
Oh.
The first round of anything is where the most number of
Difficult ones.
The most number of grade 4s per segment. So the first few may have multiple grade 4s in the line segment itself. It's not just one grade 4. So we're shooting for 75, and if they turn out to be very easy, like we hope, we will certainly add more in.
75 line segments?
75 line segments that have...
May have multiple grade 4s.
They do have multiple.
So the wording, the plan says 75 grade 4 repairs.
Yeah, it should say 75 line segments with 1 or more grade 4s.
Okay.
Thank you.
And there's a lot of things that are open, they say ongoing. I guess what I would encourage the board to do is ask staff to put a date on them, because we have no clue when they're going to be done, and we might want to know that they're going to be done in 1 year or 5 years or 10 years. So maybe in the the next round in the strategic planning process, we'll ask staff to put some dates on it.
Okay, item 11 is the annual user conference.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. This is the NeoGov annual user conference, and NeoGov is a company we use. It's used for online job applications and career portal. It's where people can submit their applications to us electronically. Every year they have a conference out in Las Vegas that gives us the new tools, the new training opportunities. And this year we would like to send Diana Wick, our administrative assistant, because some good cross-training for her. She wants to learn more about human resources. And because this conference is out of state, this is why we're bringing it before you today, because we need board approval.
Move approval.
Second.
Any discussion?
Yeah, just one real quick. Those dates actually coincide with the State Farm National Convention in Las Vegas, so I will be there to keep an eye on her. So I'm going to support the motion.
Keep an eye on you.
Yeah, you might need to do that.
That means you're going to have to kind of be in 2 places at once.
Probably not.
Does she know about this already?
Yes.
Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Motion carries. Item 12, 59th Annual California Association of Sanitation Agencies.
Thank you, Mr. President. Again, this is the annual conference. This year is in Monterey, California. There have been some board members that expressed interest to attending this conference. Again, since this conference is out of Orange County, according to our code, we have to take it to the board for approval, and also we need direction from the board which board member wants to go, so we can start making reservations.
I move for approval.
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Excuse me.
Motion carries.
Yeah,
Well, I think I'm attending, Arlene's attending, and Jim's attending, and they're all just gonna ride up with me to save money.
Okay.
You're taking your wife?
I don't know what that
Because that may cost the district more money if you take your wife.
But, is that correct?
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
that we're
that's-
planning on
Yeah,
going.
I can't
That's
go.
why we're moving that study session to Monday, so we
Okay.
could leave on Tuesday
Yeah.
morning.
Good thing I'm not going. That car would never make it.
Yeah, we'll go to the trailer and back.
I would like one of those bread bowls with, if you could take a cooler along.
Could you bring a couple lobsters
No,
back?
they also offer at this conference the ethics training.
Oh, good.
So I always take it every year I go, so that's one of the things I'll be doing.
Okay, great.
And I don't know if Jim or Arlene need it.
No, mine's good for another year, I think.
Mine is too.
I think mine expires this weekend, but is it rigorous that we,
Okay, let's move along to item 13, establish an ad hoc committee for the implementation of the organics recycling program.
Move for approval.
second?
I'm sorry. Before we approve this item, just first off, just wanted to make clear to the board that we need the board to nominate 2 board members to serve on this committee. We need that
Why not 3?
It's
because
an ad hoc committee.
the ad hoc
Oh,
committee
it
doesn't
isn't.
comply with the Brown Act.
Oh.
So if you appoint 3, then you got to comply with the Brown Act. So as I mentioned, we already have an internal committee that consists of staff and CRNR. So now we're just going to appoint a couple, or you're going to appoint a couple of board members to serve on that committee.
Can we approve it first and choose the board members?
Appoint
Can we approve the
the committee?
committee first, then establish the committee?
Are you sure? Approve the committee, then appoint board members.
Sure.
That would.
Does that get you anything, or?
No,
that help?
just that,
Yeah.
because I think we've already talked about it at our study session. And we can make the recommendation in the motion if you want, but.
Yeah, I just need to know which board members want to serve on the committee.
Well, I had suggested that Mike and Bob do it, because Arlene and I did the last ad hoc committee, if they have time available.
I thank you, because I would really like to do this.
I would also.
Yes, I thought you.
Well, why don't we just include it in the motion
In
then?
the motion, I'll include Bob and Mike in the motion.
And before you get a second on that, Mr. President, can I add something? This has been a hot item on the city attorney's chat line recently, and you think, well, I wonder why. Well, the reason is, with a standing committee, you can appoint 2, and it's, then that's fine. Except the third person comes, they can attend, but they can't speak.
Yeah.
In the ad hoc committee, you can't. That rule doesn't apply. If a third person comes, you're in violation of the Brown Act, even if you don't speak. So you have to notice it as, if you want 3 people there, you have to notice it as a council meeting. So this is kind of like a surprise development, and a lot of people are getting hit with this. So just be aware it means 2 people only.
Yeah, that's.
2 board
Was
members.
that an attorney general's? Did the attorney general come down with that, or?
No, it's just city attorneys talking on a chat line, on a confidential chat line, that real life situations that have
Gotcha.
happened, and
Gotcha.
they're figuring this out, and this is the consensus of opinion.
Got it.
Okay, any further discussion? Or do we have?
No, I hadn't made the motion, but no second yet.
I'll second.
I thought it was.
I don't remember.
I don't remember.
No, because
Well,
Alan asked to bring something up.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think we had a second yet.
Did you have a
Yeah.
comment,
I'll second.
Tim?
My name is Jim Mosher. In addition to the cautions that the district council mentioned, and I think he would agree to me, in your staff report are the 3 conditions that, or 4, that the ad hoc committee has to meet for it not to have noticed meetings. And among those, that it be strictly advisory, and that the committee consist only of the board members. In other words, it has to be 2 board members who are themselves going to make some recommendation back to the full board. The committee cannot consist of other people who are going to vote on that recommendation. It has to be just those 2 committee members
That's how we.
meeting
that's how
by
I-
themselves. Will come back with a recommendation here. And
Right.
it's not clear in the staff report if this is part of some bigger committee which would then probably have to have its meetings noticed if there's other people contributing equally to the decision.
Can I ask a question? Does that include the staff?
You could have staff there
Staff.
giving you support,
Okay.
but they can't be part of
Yeah,
the
when
committee.
it's
Right.
saying
They
some
can't be
of
part of the
our
legislative
officials may
body.
be involved in another committee, so
No, I think it's our
they
understanding.
would
it's
not
gonna
be
two.
participating in the vote or
Right.
recommendation that comes back.
And that rule came from when somebody tried to create a committee of, like the liaison committee, where there was two from the city and two from the water board, and and then they ended up taking some action. So that's a thing you can't have.
Yeah. There's no action taken.
Yeah.
Comes back to the
Right.
board.
Only recommendations.
Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Engineers report.
Happy to answer any questions.
Any questions of Rob?
Just an observation. At an ungodly hour this morning, I was driving up Harbor Boulevard towards Fountain Valley for a reason, and the guys were working on Harbor and roughly Segerstrom? No,
Mesa Village?
whatever that is. It's just past MacArthur, or before. Was that a part of the CIP thing, or was that just a maintenance? Is that what they were doing?
Yeah, they're just clean.
Okay, it looked pretty heavy. So
Was it our truck?
yeah,
Yeah.
That's cool. Oh,
just cleaning. Okay.
It was a mess. Didn't need to be
I
there.
had a question.
I wondered because that's all of that. There's a lot of pharmaceutical stuff in there.
It was a tough one. We really had a hard time cleaning that one. A lot of
Artie?
grease.
I had a question of Rob. Remember we talked about, I think it was like 2 meetings ago, about that manhole cover that got covered over off of Harbor, and I think it was Adams, wasn't it?
Yes.
Did we get that?
Mesa Verde. Mesa Verde.
Yes, I believe it's been raised to grade.
Is that from the Azalon? Or that?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's been raised or not, but can you check it?
Yes.
Well, I go by there every day, so I'll look at it, but that doesn't make, there is a new sewer manhole in their parkway,
Right.
and so whether we need ours, or,
They have a new manhole relatively close to our manhole.
Would
okay.
that take the place of ours?
No.
Okay, so we
Ours-
just need to check ours.
Right.
Because I don't think that they've raised it.
Okay, I'll recheck.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, let's move along. Treasurer's report.
Thanks, Mr. President and board members. This is your quarterly review of the investment report. For the month of June, the portfolio was earning 0.777%. This is about 55 basis points above LAIF, which was paying 0.228%. For the year, ended June 30, 2014, the portfolio earned that same rate, that 0.777% for the whole year on a weighted average basis. We were budgeting to earn 0.9%, fell a little bit short of that. In actual dollars of investment income, you actually exceeded your budget investment income because cash balances were higher than we were projecting to begin with, just due to timing of capital expenditures. The only thing of note on this month's investment report is we had one new security we purchased. Since the first time the district is purchasing this, so I just want to call it out to you. We purchased a negotiable certificate of deposit, and a negotiable certificate of deposit is a little bit different than a regular certificate of deposit where you just go to a bank and you buy a certificate from them and directly from the bank. A negotiable certificate of deposit is an actual investment that you purchase on the secondary market. It's traded. It's actively traded like bonds would be. So we purchased a $100,000 Synchrony Bank negotiable certificate of deposit. Synchrony Bank is the new name for GE Capital Corp. All the certificates of deposit, the negotiable ones that we purchased, they're all federally insured up to $250,000. So one, we have to like the name, feel good about the name, and if something does go wrong, this is a 5-year certificate of deposit. If something does go wrong, you're protected in that. There's insurance there for $250,000. We only have $100,000 invested.
I'm sorry, Mark. The negotiable part's the interest rate, correct?
No. The negotiable part is yes, yes, it would be related to the interest because it's traded on the secondary market.
Yeah.
So you can buy and sell it at premiums and discounts, unlike just going to a bank and buying a regular
Right.
certificate deposit where it's a stated
Fixed
rate for a
rate,
stated
yeah.
period of time.
Yeah, okay.
If I could be so bold as to add something to our treasurer's understanding of this.
Alan, we're all ears.
When you can do sewer, I can do bank.
You guys want to watch the video?
My understanding of it, and Mark said it completely correctly, except that for more common folks like us, it's actually a negotiable note is like commercial paper, where it actually, like you said, it's tradable. It's like a promissory note, pay on demand.
Yeah.
And you can give it to him, and he can. It's good for him, as opposed to a contract which says, if these things happen, then somebody gets paid, and there's defenses you can assert. Commercial paper is, nope, on this date you pay the money. And
Yep.
that's what, right?
Yep.
Commercial paper. That's what it's called.
Well, when
You
did-
gonna retire and do investing?
No, I can't balance my own checkbook. That was a little slice of something I knew, so I thought I'd throw it in.
I was going to give you 100 grand.
Thank you for your
I was going to
input,
give you,
Alan.
Alan, I was
That
going
was
to,
well received.
I was going to give you 100 grand, have you play with it for me, but I don't think I will now.
Yeah.
We can compete them.
Yeah.
Well, what was the interest rate on that thing?
2%.
That's not bad.
Can people buy them?
Can people buy them? Sure, you can buy them as well. Absolutely.
You're the only one with money, so.
Make sure you go through a registered
You won, Bob.
representative and not just off the back of a truck. Make sure it's a registered rep.
I'll buy one from Mark.
I think Alan's got a better idea. I mean,
Okay, let's move along. Attorney's report.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is the Fourth Amendment to your General Manager's Agreement. As you know, you did meet in closed session after you did Mr. Carroll's performance review and gave him his accolades, that you then determined what authority you had to negotiate, and you did reach an agreement, as I understand it, and hopefully this agreement reflects the agreement you did reach. Mr. Mosher's pointed out an ambiguity that I would like to fix in it about the pay and when it starts, and it's generally the $183,051.31 is the annual salary, but as you know, you made a special deal on this one that alters the way his contract was, so that he's retroactive to the first pay period in March on the salary, and he also has to pay more PERS, but the PERS only kicks in, because mechanically it can only kick in it's August, and otherwise that was the deal. So.
Okay. Everybody have an understanding of the changes that were made?
Is this going into the record as written?
No, it will be retyped, but
I
this
mean,
will be,
with the changes,
yes,
with the
yes.
changes.
This is what we're recommending.
Okay.
I'll move approval.
Second.
Discussion? Yeah.
Yeah, this is the item I put in the comment card on, so
Oh,
thank you
okay.
again,
I'm sorry.
President Ferryman.
Mhm.
I had several comments about this, if I can organize myself here. First one is the staff report on the second page of the financial review has a typo in it, which makes things a little confusing. It says that you had agreed to raise the salary from $171,000 to $183,000, which would be quite an increase. So I had to go back and look online at what the current contract was. The proposal was actually to go from $177,000 to $183,000, which is a more modest increase.
That is my fault.
Although I would say it is still probably characteristic of special districts, but it's a pretty generous salary, I would say, for the size of the organization compared to like a department head of the city or something of that sort. But in any event, the purpose is the $5,000 indicated there in the financial review is a 3% raise, which consists of two components. One, as it says in the next sentence, is a 0.5% increase in pay, and then there's another 2.5% that is this PERS aspect of it, which the money is going to be given to the general manager, and then the general manager is going to use that to pay a higher PERS contribution. And it says only the 0.5% was intended to be retroactive back to March. So in other words, the 183 was apparently supposed to start now, as it says in the contract, with the first pay period in August, and that only the 0.5% part is supposed to be retroactive back to March, which, as it says in the report, it's just, we're talking about a very small amount of money, $370. And in connection with that, so I would suggest the first part of the contract says that the 183 starts with the first pay period in August, which is when the new PERS arrangement begins. And as to the retroactive aspect of that, from what I've seen of similar contracts being approved in Newport Beach, rather than going back and trying to correct all the pay stubs in the past, when the council figures that they wanted to enact something sooner than they have, they just put that in as a one-time cash payment equivalent to what the 0.5% would have been over those months. So rather than trying to say something retroactive, they would just say, and a one-time payment of $370 that's the equivalent of the 0.5% since March. And then that simplifies the language and makes it clear to everybody that the new salary is starting now and that there's some additional amount to make up for the 0.5% you were trying to pay for those months. So I hope that clarifies what I was trying to say about that. And then the other thing I wanted to say is, since you negotiate this in closed session, and it always says you're talking about the manager's goals and whether he's achieved them or not, I was happy to see connected to in public here the staff report of what the goals are for the general manager. And it says the 2014 goals, and I was just hoping for clarification since we don't know what you discussed exactly in closed session. Are these for the calendar year 2014, or are these goals for the fiscal year starting now?
2014-15.
That was, I think that's all my comments. Thank you.
Thank you. The comments Mr. Mosher made.
I'm going to recommend you adopt it the way it reads. I think it's clear.
Well, it's another way of looking at it, but
Yep.
basically
I
it says
understand
the
the point
same
being
thing.
made. Yeah.
Point well taken, though.
Yeah, it's just terminology. The way we actually do this, it ends up as a one-time payment.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
just calculate it, so
That's
it's
right.
just terminology.
Yeah, okay.
And 183, the dollar amount, so you know what it was this year. That's the, so that for when he gets his, somebody gets a raise next year, you have a number to work off of. You can overly complicate this thing.
Right.
Who makes that change? Is Leilani make
I
the
think
change, or?
our ACE staff here at the district will make it tomorrow, probably.
You made did somebody make a motion?
It's been
We
moved.
made a motion.
It's been moved and seconded.
Okay. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Motion carries.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
That's a good point, though, Bob.
Thank you, Scott.
We should.
You're doing a good job.
Is that, like Mr. Moser said, that 2014 is from 2014 to 2015 calendar year?
No, it's kind of, yeah, so
Yeah.
you're basically
That's what-
6
okay.
months to get those goals
We should
done.
probably list that, because that's a pretty good question.
Some of those goals have a longer.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, but that's, you're not
In
gonna achieve
general.
them all.
Yes.
Isn't your actual, didn't you start in January?
Yeah, January
that's-
4th. Yeah,
And
that
so
was
my
it.
question is why didn't we take it back
We couldn't do it.
to January?
We couldn't do it unless we did it.
You could do it, but
That's what we negotiated.
Yeah.
that's what was negotiated, that was what was requested.
Yeah.
But the thing that makes this a little awkward is that usually you set the manager's salary and the goals on a fiscal year basis, because that's when you budget. But we hired Scott in January, so that's for,
We may want
We
to
probably
consider
can't
that next year.
correct
to make
that.
Fiscal year, maybe, for five.
and maybe you want to talk about goals earlier.
Yeah, start with goals early.
Or I would suggest that we tie, well, I don't know, the strategic plan goals are another set of goals that he is responsible for. And, we've been pretty aggressive as a board with goals, and it makes him a high performer.
He's got plenty of
His
goals to
his
work on.
resume just shines.
We may want to put that on the study session, just to review the goals again, the strategic goals. So that we spend more time on it as a board, so it takes us an hour or so to review them all, just to, so you can remember.
Okay, let's move along to item 18, Back Bay Center easement agreement.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is the formalized, I should say memorialized agreement that we reached for Back Bay easement. We've been working on this for a long time. The compensation was approved in closed session after some a lot of back and forth with the property owner, and Scott and Rob did a great job of getting the easement agreements together and taking care of all the little details, and we finally reached an agreement.
Move approval.
I think this is merely for your approval and to make a public record of what has already been approved and recorded, and we're in escrow.
I just have one question. So it says for the easement itself plus additional sums to make the owner whole. What are
Escrow
those?
fees, a lender review cost. As you remember, we gave the attorney for the property owner $5,000 to review legal documents, which he says he expended long ago, and he's required to give us an accounting of that, and a few things like that. So
Okay, so that's what those were. Okay.
Yeah, it was all appropriate and not outrageous.
Okay.
And what you want to say is the
I have a quick
truth.
question.
There was a lot of back and forth.
Just a minor question. I think I'll ask Nolani. Somewhere down the line, page 12 of 16, you did an acknowledgement, a notary acknowledgement. Do we do that on all legal documents? Where that's acknowledging the fact that Jim and Art were the true signers. Do these contracts generally call for some kind of notarization?
When recording with the county, I believe that they require that.
Got it. Okay, I did. You know what? I didn't. I don't know if I even skipped over that on there. So thank you. That clears it.
On the second, you mentioned they probably.
Okay, discussion, any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, motion carries. Okay, let's move along here to local meetings. I was at the Orange County Sand
Did you have the Isbach matter?
It's new business.
Way down.
Oh, it got moved?
Mhm.
Oh, okay. Oh, I see. This is. All right.
Scott, are we gonna talk about the easement for Friday?
At any rate, I was at the Orange County Sand District Board meeting. As we said earlier, they did decide to spend $125 million to reduce the liability on the closers. And then in closed session, we were negotiating with one of the union groups, and we're making I think what's our final and last offer to them. And just to give you a little overview, it'd be like 2.5% over 3 years. But they were going to give $1,000 flat fee or bonus, and then 0.5%, and then 1% the following year, right?
Well, I wasn't there.
Oh, you wanted to-
I wasn't in
Mr.
the
President,
closed session.
can I add something? The rule is on when you're in closed session for an agency that you're appointed by this body, is that you cannot report to this body what was said in closed session. So I realized what you
okay.
said was that was the public part of it, so I didn't want you to go any further than that.
Yeah.
At least
At
the
any rate,
Attorney General thinks
and
that's
nothing's been decided. We don't know if they're going to accept it or not. That was basically all. Bob, I don't know if you have anything to add to that.
No, they're 125 million pay down of vouchers was
Yeah,
significant.
that was
They also listed a whole bunch of insurances, which are amazingly expensive for a 600-person agency, but necessary. There was a contract that the lowest responsible bidder was thrown out because he didn't do some of the safety stuff right, and the second one got the bid.
We are going to interview for new financial advisor. PIMCO will make a bid to us as well, who's our current company, but we're going out on an RFP for that. So. Okay, that's
Mr.
it.
President, could I just add that I just saw on the advance sheets that the Kern case, the LA Sanitation District and Orange County Sanitation District, there was an issue about whether the lawsuit had been filed timely. It's a very complicated case about the dormant, this is about spreading the sludge up there.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
And they ruled that the lawsuit was untimely, and they threw out the lawsuit on those grounds. So I don't know if the whole case is dead or that's just part of it, but that was a...
That's been going on for years.
God, for a long
a very complicated ruling about when you have to file one of those lawsuits. It's been through a few different courts and bounced back and forth, and it was hard to follow. But anyway, looks like it's kind of dead now.
Sanitary River Flood Control.
No meeting this month.
ISDOT.
Yeah, real briefly, the executive committee met on July 1st. LAFCO report, their directors for LAFCO, on August 11th, there are going to be coalition meetings with CSDA and some special districts with LAFCO. John Withers reported on that, and that just that the meetings were coming up. We had a lot of discussion on programs for the quarterly meetings, and Neil Kelly is speaking next Thursday, but originally Carolyn Emery from LAFCO was supposed to speak, and the current president of ISDOC's executive committee and one of the other members got into it a little bit over speakers and who was supposed to do speak. Anyway, it was a little contentious. And then we talked about the distribution of the ISDOC e-news, and if you all recall, the Costa Mesa Sanitary District was the premier agency for being spotlighted in the news. I just wanted to tell Scott you wrote it really well. Came out really, really nice, and everybody commented that how good it was. So good job. And then we're going to talk about a matter in just a few minutes about executive committee elections, which are coming up. That got very contentious as well. Treasurer's report, there's about $6,100 in the ISDOC treasury, but they're waiting for their OCOG dues, which should be about $5,000. And then there's a meeting next Thursday the quarterly luncheon with Neil Kelly.
Okay, CSDA.
Nothing other than I had Nolani sign me up for a webinar on August 6th about improving social media relations and different things for social media with special districts. It's about, I think it was about a 2-hour webinar, right? Which I will do at my office. So.
SDRMA.
No report from SDRMA other than we just received a whole list of I'm on the legislative committee for SDRMA, and there's a lot of changes coming through on workers' comp bills, especially for peace officers. It's going to be really interesting to see. Yeah, on expanding eligibility and
More presumptions?
Very much so.
No.
So that's SDRMA and CSDA are going to oppose, I think, just about every one of the new measures, but it's going to be interesting to see how much more money they want to spend. That's it.
Pendulum swung the other way.
Yep, it has gone the other way.
Okay, Arlene, did you have anything to report?
I do. I went to the ISDOC meeting, but I think Mike said it all. Went to the Waco meeting, the liaison committee, which was the water, city, and sun. I think it probably was the best meeting I ever had. It was very good.
What date was that?
It was on the 13th.
7/13?
Yeah, June.
I think it was in June.
Oh,
It
June.
was last
June.
month.
Yeah.
It was last month.
I report every like I'm supposed to. Anyway, Costa Mesa study session, I went to that. LAFCO, I went to the meeting. That was really wild because Susan, who's been the public person on LAFCO, did not get it. So I sat through all this that went on, and then the other,
Today?
No,
What happened
this
today?
was,
No.
this was June. No, anyway, he got it, he was the he actually was the alternate on the public, and he's really good. And he's been inspiring to have this for quite a while. And Susan had acted like, this is my last time, I'm not gonna do it anymore. And so this was brought up that, now she is going again. So anyway, it was a good meeting.
Was it the LAFCO board that gets to vote on this?
Yes.
They appoint the public member.
Point, yeah.
And it was all done, you know, each one stepped in and they were, stayed away from each other. It was good. And Costa Mesa Chamber Breakfast went for that. And then as far as the report on CSDA, got 10 more votes, which is a big thing. Because they're, you know, you gotta remember it's from San Bernardino, LA, Orange, and Orange County, and then Riverside, and San Diego. I mean, it's a pistol trying
When's
to.
that election?
It's August 1st. So
That's when it ends, obviously.
that's when it ends, and then they'll call. You know.
Mr. President, can I add that she was, Trustee Director Schaefer was on the Orange County Vector Control District Board agenda for the approval endorsement for that position, and the vote was 35-0. Morlock making the recommendation, and Cheryl Brothers making the second in favor of Arlene, and that the pool of candidates included somebody from a vector control district. And they voted for Arlene instead of the person from the vector
Great.
control.
Wow.
So that was quite an endorsement.
You know, it was very nice. So stay tuned, and by next time we'll know, you know.
Okay.
That's it.
Any, Bob?
One other one, Scott and I went on a tour of the transfer station at Newport Beach, and I recommend it. It's interesting. It's just little trucks coming and dumping into big trucks. I learned that they big trucks haul to San Juan rather than Stanton, because they have a new MRF down there. And we saw the new trucks, C&R trucks, and they have little trucks to service the tight areas. You know, and I think I didn't notice whether they were loaded from the back or from the side, so the little trucks come and they pick up. So Newport Beach has a two-can system, and they go around. They pick up the mixed waste, they dump it into the 18-wheelers and haul it to San Juan. And then at the end of the day, they go around and they pick up all the recyclables and take them and drive them home to San Juan. So the trucks go home at night, which is very dismaying apparently to the Newport Beach trash people, because, you know, instead of one pass through the city and you go out and get your containers, first pass through you can only take in the ones that they've emptied, and then they empty the last one at the end of the day so they can take it home.
So those two different colored cans, like we have.
I didn't see the residential cans, but
You know, ours has, we have 3 that have, that look like ours, and then we have one that has a blue top for recyclables.
Okay.
Oh, really?
Good.
so you have to wait till 5 o'clock at night or whenever they finally come through to get the second one.
You know, we have an alley, so ours don't move at all. In fact, I mentioned to them that they come out and, you know, pull them out if they need to.
Are you allowed to keep those in the alleys?
Yes. In plain view.
Curious.
And they're automated?
Anyway, the
Yeah.
transfer station's a huge benefit to the cost reduction that the Newport Beach residents enjoy. You know, my analysis shows they make Wendy, you pay $2 less a month approximately than we, and yeah, but it's, you know, I'm doing some analysis of that. But I talked to my realtor, and he said, you know, it'd take 800 years to go recoup that $2 a month to move to Newport Beach.
I defer that to my treasurer.
So he defers it to you.
Anyway, they do pay $2 less a month after they bid the contract. But we couldn't get that benefit.
Okay, let's move along. Old business. I don't think there's any. New business. Arlene, I think you had something.
Oh, let the stock can go first,
Okay.
and then I'll.
ISDOC Executive Committee.
Yeah. I'd like to make a motion to actually put Mike into nominating for presidency this time.
I'll second that. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye. Can I vote? Can I vote on that?
Sure. Hey.
Yay. Aye.
Motion carries.
Has to be unanimous. Okay, now,
How do we do that? Does Scott do that?
You have a resolution to go to Jessica.
yeah.
I think President,
I mean, we didn't want
I
to
don't know
show
if
process
I
done
vote.
right.
Yeah, it's just a resolution to go to
Fine.
Jessica Weaker.
Does Scott do that?
So we need to send a resolution to, is that?
Yes, you do. By
Coming up pretty soon.
by.
By the way,
There's a by date, Scott. I don't remember
Okay,
when.
Tuesday.
Tuesday, August 26th.
yeah, which is by the way.
No, it's
Okay.
like a
1
month away.
month.
August.
But the sooner the better.
Oh,
That way
in
people know I'm
August.
running.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's good, okay. Okay, my turn?
Yes.
Actually, I want to talk about CSDA and that they sent out something for anybody who wishes to do CSDA's award nomination and open it. And I don't know what to do first. Should I say the need arose and then,
Well, I
or
think
should
you
I
wanna, I
explain
think you
it
wanna bring
first?
up
Okay, let
a
me
need to
explain it.
take a non-agenda item because there's a need to take immediate
Yeah.
action.
Okay,
We need 2 votes.
Okay, I need to take a non-agenda item.
I'll move we bring the non-agenda item forward.
My question is, when is it due?
Let's do the 15th.
Of August?
August.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think.
Why don't you present the facts for that?
I was going to.
I think I
just
know what
didn't
it
if
is.
I
Before
should
they
have
vote,
first.
I think they were gonna
Okay.
vote before
The-
you
What I
presented it.
feel real strong about is the board president of the year. And that, I think that Jim Ferryman really should get this because he's experienced, effectiveness, and leadership. And not only that, he's put up with 2 years of just contracts and a lot of hassle.
Arlene, before we get to the merits of the motion, could we put the facts in about why we need to take action tonight?
Oh.
I think there's a
Okay.
short time frame for this.
Yes.
And the need arose after the agenda was prepared. We were gonna talk about that first.
Right.
And then we can get to the main motion second.
Okay, yeah, the need arises because we're gonna have a public hearing after this.
Right.
And so it'll be closed by the 15th of August. And so this is why I'm asking us to bring it up.
Yeah, and I
now.
moved and Bob seconded.
Yeah.
This is for the, needs to
So
be
we're-
passed
That need
by
to
a-
be, need to bring it
Need
forward.
that
Sure.
vote.
And then the other thing
Well, we
is,
do-
Wait, we need to vote on it.
oh, okay,
We have a motion and a second.
To put it on the agenda.
Right, put on the
Correct.
agenda.
okay.
Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, motion carries.
Now you can say what a great
Okay.
president we have.
Okay, well,
I didn't know you felt that way.
I didn't know either.
That's why we have 2
No,
doors here, so that when Jim walks out, he gets
No,
through the,
another
his head
thing,
through
you
the
know,
door.
there is so much that he has done that we don't, recognize and know. I mean, he sits on this, Orange County Sanitation District, he's been on that forever. And
Sarfa?
really,
Sarfa.
yeah, Sarfa, been involved with, what do you call that title? I wanna say border.
Border Patrol.
It's in the Border
Yeah.
Patrol.
Border Commission.
Yeah.
Do you
He's
need,
the
do you
commissioner.
need this?
Yeah, and I think he's done so much and has that experience behind him. People are aware of him, and he's very effective. He goes to everything, and that he has to. And so, anyway, this is my own feelings that we are able then, if we vote on this, to put together something for CSDA for him to be in
I'll
the
make a
running.
motion to approve that request.
Second.
Okay.
I'm flattered that you're doing this, but I wasn't looking around to be.
That's why I didn't tell you.
Can't discuss that on the meeting.
Yeah.
Any further discussion?
I think it was.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Right.
Opposed, motion carries.
Now, my question is, who's gonna be writing the,
Staff work that out.
is it staff?
Yeah.
I don't trust him.
And then, does that have to be signed by anybody?
Well, mostly, more board members.
Okay, so,
Yeah.
because I'll be gone.
Well, that's why I want this now, because
I'll sign as vice
I gotta
president.
have some leverage.
I'm
here.
around. Are you leaving this weekend?
so
Yeah,
he is
or
gone,
Saturday,
and
Saturday
Mike can sign it?
Yeah, I'll sign.
Okay.
I'll be around
Yeah.
forever.
Yeah, you can get them done.
Beautiful.
I made all the comments.
Well, thank you. I am flattered. I appreciate
Good.
that.
And this will come up in September at the CSDA Palm Springs
Oh, okay.
Conference.
Yeah.
Okay.
Speaking of CSDA, just for the record, SDRMA takes care of my registration at at the CSDA conference, so that our district won't have any outlay for me to go to that.
Well, you're not going to the one in,
Monterey? No, I have an annual State Farm compliance audit that has to be done during the same time.
Okay, oral communications, director comments. Anybody have anything? Well, then, by God, we're gonna be adjourned right now.
Good.
Thank you for your attendance.
I'm gonna go into the show Blended. I recommend you see it.
See what? Blended? What's
Yeah,
that?
He told me to.
Sandler and Drew Barrymore.
Oh.
Thank you.
I've seen it once. I think you have to say it's a romantic
Okay, thank
comedy.
you.
I don't go to the movie.
8 o'clock tomorrow morning?
Yes, yes. 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. I gotta go.
Huh?
8 o'clock tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
I'll let you know.
Okay.
Don't forget your binder.
See, you know, it's coming very well.
Yeah.